Good morning, all of you. Students, we are doing the chapter Magnet, in which we discussed about the discovery of magnet, then natural and artificial magnet, then temporary permanent magnet, and magnetic and non-magnetic materials. Today I am going to explain about the strength of a bar or horseshoe magnet. The strength of a magnet can be determined in terms of its attractive force, that is, the force by which materials get attracted towards it or stick to it. The more the attractive force or pull of the magnet, more is the strength of the magnet. Now, consider a collection of bar or horseshoe magnets of different sizes and shapes. Suppose we want to find out the strongest as well as the weakest magnet from the given collection. A simple way of finding this is to use each magnet one by one to pick up steel clips. Hold one end of the each magnet one by one to collect these clips. The magnet which attracts the largest number of the clips can be thought of as the strongest one. We can draw a bar graph between the number of paper clips that stick to the magnet and the type of the magnet. The graph provides a comparison of the strengths of the given collection of different magnets. Do you think we suggested using one end of the magnet? What is the reason? In this, we suggest you to use one end of the magnet to collect iron clips. This is because the strength of a magnet is maximum near its two ends. The two ends of a bar or horseshoe magnet are known as its two poles. That means the poles are the reason where the strength of the magnet is maximum. The poles are situated near the two ends of the magnet and are the reason where its strength is maximum. Now, the strength of a magnet as the point of observation moves away from either of the poles goes on decreasing towards the middle of the magnet. That means when we move towards the middle of the magnet, the strength of the magnet get decreased. At the center, the strength of the magnet becomes almost zero. By an activity, we can understand it. And to show that the strength of the bar magnet is maximum near the poles, we have to place a bar magnet on the table, cover it with a transparent sheet, sprinkle some iron fillings on the sheet. What do we observe? We observe that there is arrangement of iron fillings with more and more of these fillings collecting near the ends of the bar magnet. The rearrangement of the iron fillings suggests that the bar magnet has two poles and its strength is maximum near these two poles. Students, we already discussed about the poles of the magnet where the strength of the magnet is maximum. Now I'll discuss about north and south poles of a bar magnet. When a bar magnet is suspended freely, that means when it is tied to a string and hang it to move freely, then its two poles approximately towards the geographical north and south poles. The two poles of its, that means both the ends of the bar magnet, point towards the geographical north and south poles. The pole of the bar magnet which points towards the geographical north is called its north pole, that is north seeking pole, and the other which points towards the geographical south is called south pole. Now, to understand it, we will do a small activity. That is, we have to tie the center of a bar magnet or magnetic needle to a string. We will tie one end of the string with a stand and let the bar magnet hang freely from the other end of the string. When it comes to rest, then draw a line on the floor indicating the direction in which the magnet is resting. For identification, we will put a mark on one end of this line. Now, we will displace the bar magnet slightly from its resting position, and we will observe that the bar magnet again comes to rest along the same direction. So what happens when we turn the bar magnet around to face the opposite direction? The bar magnet again rotates, or its ends turns to again point in the same direction. So we can say that the freely suspended bar magnet always points in one particular direction, the north-south direction. The end of the bar magnet, which always seeks the geographical north, is the north pole of the bar magnet, and the other end, which always seeks the geographical south, is the south pole of the bar magnet. Now, interaction, attraction or repulsion between bar magnets. Let us place a bar magnet near one end of a large table. If we place another bar magnet at the opposite end of the table, what we will observe? Both the magnets remains stationary. That means at large distances, the force that they exert on each other is almost zero. Now let us move one of the bar magnet towards the other bar magnet in such a way as to make their unlike poles face each other. The magnets are seen to experience a pull towards each other, and thus two magnets kept close by with their unlike poles facing each other are seen to attract each other. Let us reverse the two ends of one of the bar magnets. Now the like poles of the two magnets are facing each other. What we will observe? We will observe that the two magnets are now seen to move away from each other. Thus, two magnets kept close by with their like poles facing each other are seen to repel each other. We can also bring one of the poles of a bar magnet near one of the poles of a freely suspended bar magnet. We again observe similar effects. Now, by some simple activity, we can understand all these properties. Let us now keep two bar magnets under a transparent paper that has iron fillings sprinkled on it. Now, let the like poles of the bar magnets face each other. What we will observe? We will observe that iron fillings between the bar magnets appear to be pushing away from each other. Let us now change the position of the second bar magnet so that the unlike poles face each other. What do we observe? We will observe that the iron fillings between the bar magnets appear to be pulling towards each other. So now you can understand why this activity happens in the two examples that you have seen. Now, from all these things, we get some properties of a bar magnet. Now, the first one is attractive property. The magnet is capable of attracting small pieces of iron, steel, etc. Then, second is directive property. A freely suspended magnet always points along the geographical north and south direction. Then magnet has two magnetic poles. Even if we break a magnet, each of its two pieces still has two magnetic poles. Then like poles of two magnets repel each other while their unlike poles attract each other. So I think that's all for today, students. We will discuss Earth as a magnet in the next class. Thank you. Have a nice day.